Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and I used to fly Boeing 737, yeah, exactly the same aircraft type as you can see on this photo. So I got so many questions of why did we have so many of the events happening for the last 10 days around the world connected to aviation incidents and accidents. Well, let's review some of them and I'm gonna answer that main question because there are some of the conspiracy theories appear that it is the massive sabotage. So this is called runway excursion. An airplane exits the runway not on taxiway but just on random pavement. It happened with KLM Royal Dutch Airlines in Oslo, Norway. The airplane you see is Boeing 737-800. So it's not a MAX airplane, it's the next generation before MAX. So here we have the information about this incident. Why is it considered as an incident and not an accident? Because the airplane sustained, it sustained just minor damages and more or less the construction is okay. So if there are no injuries, no casualties, no significant damage to construction, it is called an incident. So it was the flight from Oslo to Amsterdam. There were 176 passengers on board, quite loaded airplane. The airplane was climbing out of Oslo, runway 19 left. Then the crew reported hydraulic problems and stopped climbing at 5,000 feet. The crew subsequently decided to divert back to Oslo Torp Sandefjord Airport. Yes, I also flown to that one couple of the times, not too many. Where the aircraft touched down the other runway, runway 18, about 50 minutes after departure. During the roll, aircraft just weaved to the right and went off the runway, coming to a stop with the nose and the right landing gear off the runway. There are no reports of injuries. Awesome outcome. Again, they say that it's the hydraulic failure. Airport was closed for quite a while. Well, the KLM airline reported that during takeoff there was the loud noise that was heard. It was decided to divert to the airport. And again, they say that Boeing 737 veered, they say, off the runway to the grass at a low speed. The low-speed runway excursions usually do not cause significant damages. Moreover, you can see on this image that the ground there was probably wet, so then the airplane left the runway. It was almost immediately stopped by the extra drag. So here's the map. Runway 18 is here, quite a long runway I would say, and airplane stopped at the low speed. And here again we have the hydraulic system of Boeing 737. The nose wheel steering is powered by hydraulic system A, but there is also the alternate nose wheel steering, but you need to select the special switch for it to be in service. Was that switch on? I don't know, but I see that the flaps are extended, I think, to position 40, to maximum position. It means that they had hydraulic system, especially for the flaps extension, because if you do not have hydraulic system B, you extend flaps using electrical motors to not more than flaps 15. So what caused that hydraulic problem? Well, those could be some of the debris even on the runway, which could strike the airplane on departure, but again, it's one of the probabilities. Maybe it's just the malfunction of the airplane. Luckily, there are reserve systems which worked in this case. But again, it's the mystery for me why the airplane excurted the runway, because again, you have the alternate nose wheel steering, which helps you to control the airplane at the low speeds. So for sure there was hydraulic system B, but whether the switch for the nose gear was selected or not, investigation will show. Here's, by the way, the switch. In case you lose hydraulic system A, you manually extend landing gear and select nose wheel steering to alternate position, and it will be powered by hydraulic system B. Alright, and that's the other case. It's already called an aviation accident. Why? Because the airplane at least was damaged. It is Bombardier Q400. As you see, it is banking here on the picture, so there was the problem with the landing gear. Oh, we don't have any more videos on Off Herald, no photos. Maybe I'll try to find something on the internet.
Filling up the cabin.
So for a moment that felt really unusual, and then you could feel that left side drop, which I think is when the landing gear completely gave way, and the left side of the plane was now gliding on the tarmac on the engine. So sparks were flying, you could sort of see it just out the window. Then the sparks became flames.
There are no injuries. Mars says he's still coming to terms with the incident.
you know, I would think every time I'm coming in for a landing now, obviously that's going to cross my mind.
Halifax Stanfield International.
Yeah, definitely kind of the strange picture, but you know, the airplane kept almost central line even in this configuration through entire landing roll. So really robust airplane. It just had the problem with this particular landing gear. Dash Q400 is the comparator for the ATR 72, but still it may take more passengers and fly faster compared to ATR, but at the same time it has more fuel consumption. And because of that, sometimes airlines get this airplane or ATR, but mainly ATR because it's very cheap of consumption. So it's Bell Airlines, the Havilland Dash Q400 on behalf Air Canada registration. This one performing flight from Jones NL to Halifax with 77 people on board and landing on Halifax runway 23 or runway 23. After that, crew declared Mayday after the left landing gear just collapsed and the left wing contacted the ground. Sparks and fire were briefly visible. Also mentioned by the tower, the aircraft was evacuated. I recommend to check out VAS Aviation YouTube channel. They modelize what happened with ATC communication and so on.
Mayday, Bristol 2259.
Copy the Mayday, the trucks are on their way. Provincial 2262 tower, pull up and go around.
In the published miss, Provincial 2262.
2259, evacuate on the runway 77 souls on board and 4,300 pounds fuel. No dangers, good.
Red 3 ground, all red vehicles cleared on the runway 23, dash 8, 77 souls on board, no dangerous goods, 4,000 pounds fuel.
Nice job done by the pilots. They didn't hesitate even to tell additional information about how many persons there were on board. Fuel, dangerous goods. Dangerous goods are important because if you carry some of the special materials like lithium batteries, for example, the fire brigade already understands that. So here everything is done smoothly. No passengers were hurt, maybe some of the minor injuries during the evacuation, because during any sort of the evacuation, people are running to the exit, so they start to push each other, sometimes fall, and that also might bring some of the not casualties but injuries. And you know, I even think that it is possible to save this airplane. I think it is repairable, just need to change some of the components, maybe engine. Why did it happen with this airplane? Because the landing gear on this one is really big, robust. Well, maybe something went wrong with the wheel itself, and under huge resistance from the ground, without the rubber itself, maybe it collapsed. But in general, like, it's a good outcome. And there was also the case with the Swiss Air Bombardier CS300 series. There was the smoke on board, and apparently, according to the latest information, the engine's main shaft was found fractured. It basically means that the exhaust gases from the combustion chamber could come partially to the cockpit and cabin. Well, actually, smoke or fire on board, it's the worst case possible for any sort of the scenario. Even the dual engine failure may bring you some of the options, but in case you have smoke and fire, well, in this case you are quite limited and you need to act fast. And just to review the case with Jeju Air, there also could be some of the smoke on board, like from the bird. If it hit the engine, the fumes might go into the cockpit or cabin through the air conditioning system. So pilots might understood that as some sort of the smoke or fire on board, so in that case they would have landed immediately. And we have here the latest update that on January the 1st, the government of South Korea stated that flight data recorder will be sent to the United States of America for reading out and analysis due to the damage of the crucial connector. So for sure in the United States it will be decoded, so it's not a big issue, but the cockpit voice recorder has been successfully downloaded. We just don't have the data over here yet, but investigation team already, I think at this stage they already know what happened, because communication between pilots tells a lot. But for the full picture, the investigation team needs to go through all of the possible versions. So like detectives investigate the crime, here investigation team investigates every possible reason. So no doubts that the truth will be uncovered. Guys, I haven't told you about the smaller cases that happened for the last few days, but I can tell you why those happen usually before Christmas, New Year. Simply, there are many more flights. People fly more, and the more there are flights, the more the probability of those incidents, accidents to happen, to occur. It's impossible to actually achieve 100% safety, so incidents and accidents will always happen in our life, and the goal for aviation safety organizations is to minimize those occurrences. Investigation always helps. So guys, in my previous videos I forgot to tell you Happy New Year. Now, Happy New Year to you, and I wish you all, as usual, a peaceful sky.